Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Monotui, coach of the Tampa Bay Luxrays, and today I'm bringing you guys our PPL Season 6 Week 1 match versus Colton, aka Shadow Gaming Hub, coach of the Osaka Eevees. We, of course, are in Division 1 for the Pokemon Premier League, and we will be having our Week 1 match now. So, for a quick breakdown of Colton's team, obviously, as you can see there, he has his Garchomp, his Blacephalon, Starmie, Scizor, Regice, and Golbat. And although I do have an entire team builder dedicated to my team, for a quick rundown, we have our Special Defensive Rocks 3 attacks Mesprit, we have our Choice Scarf Sneasel, we have our Double Dance Earthplate Landorus, we have our defensive support Pyukamaku with Z Memento, we have our Life Orb Gengar, and then you're going to notice that there is not anything in front of the Gengar. That's supposed to be an Assault Vest Magnezone, which is very key to this game. But for a little story for before we start this game. Colton and I got into a game, and it was in team preview, and I noticed that Colton's Garchomp didn't have an item, and I figured that's his Zmon, he probably just forgot to put the Z Crystal on it, so I was like, hey Colton, we should restart, you don't have an item on your Garchomp, and he was like, oh thanks, and then we canceled the game, we got into another game, his Garchomp had the item, and then we got started, and then I realized too late that I had only selected 5 Mons, I forgot to select my Magnezone, and then I PM'd him and I was like, hey, we need to restart again. I only have 5 Pokemon. But he never got the message, and so this is what we are going to be playing with today. So that was kind of unfortunate, but regardless, we're going to try and make do with what we got. Magnezone is a very important component to this team. As you can see, he does have the Scizor. I wanted it to trap that. He does have the Regice. I needed it to pivot in on this. But here we are. So he's going to lead off with his Garchomp, as I am going to lead off with my Mesprit. It's a pretty good lead for me. Obviously, I do deal with Garchomp. If he does set up an SD, I can go on and attack him with the Dazzling Gleam. If he is Devastating Drake, I'll at least be able to get at my rocks out before he kills me. But as you can see here, he just actually is going to go right out and do his Regice, fearing me to have Ice Beam, which is very nice for me because I do get at my rocks, which are going to be very useful later on. It doesn't look like he has a way to remove them unless he's defogged Scizor, and now because I am relatively split F, I can just start firing off Psychics onto this thing, as he goes for the Ice Beam. And I'm not doing a lot of damage to him, but he is also not doing a lot of damage to me. I have leftovers, which is nice. He, unless he has Rest, has no form of recovery, and I'm perfectly fine with just weakening this Regice to the point where I can knock it out with something else. He doesn't have the Mega Venusaur, so I'm okay with letting go of my Mesprit, but as you can see here, he's actually going to go right back out into his Garchomp as I do go right for the Psychic, which is pretty nice for me because now I'll be getting a little bit more leftovers recovery. He can hit me with a Dragon move, but it won't be able to 2-hit KO me unless it's Outrage. As you can see here, he actually just opts to get up his own rocks, which I'm okay with. Rocks on my side of the field is not as bad as him having rocks on his side of the field. So what I'm going to do here is just click Dazzling Gleam, be able to 2-hit KO him from the range he is at. He's going to live on a little bit of HP. He is now in range of pretty much any attack from any of my other Pokemon. And as you're going to see here, he is now actually going to slid right back out again. And he is going to go into his Regice again, which is very okay with me because now he's going to be taking the Rocks damage, and he's also going to be taking the Psychic, so he is going to end up below 50%. And during this series of events, my Mesprit has slowly been healing itself with the leftovers, and we're back to close to full HP, which is very nice for me because I can continuously just spam Psychics versus this thing and force it to go down, or as you see here, force it to go for Rest, which is very good information to know that this is a Rest variant of Regice. The only question now is whether or not he's going to be Sleep Talk or Chesto. Because we did not see an item earlier, I'm going to assume that this is going to be Chesto Berry. As you can see, that is correct. He is going to eat his Chesto Berry and he is going to wake back up. However, we're basically in the same situation that we were with the lead matchup. I'm close to full HP, he's now at full HP, so I'm going to keep on just firing off these Psychics onto this Regice, hoping that at some point I'll be able to take it down or once again force it to go for Rest at some point. Even though he does beat my Mesprit 1v1 because he does have Rest and I don't have any recovery outside of leftovers, again, I don't really need Mesprit for anything. Like, he doesn't have the Mega Venusaur, it was there mostly for that Pokemon as well as to get up rocks. It already got up rocks, it did its job, its second job is to kind of just deal with this thing, so I'm going to allow him to keep clicking Ice Beam versus me. Weaken me to the point where he can knock me out with whatever else, it doesn't really matter to me. Just lowering this Regice to the point of Landorus' Earthquake is good enough, landing it to like Sneasel's knockoff is good enough, so again, here comes another Ice Beam, going to do a lot of damage. I'm in range of another Ice Beam at this point. However, it's more than likely he's going to go for Rest on this turn. I don't mind whatever he does. I'm just going to go again for another Psychic. And as you can see, he's going to eat it, and then he's going to go for the Rest. However, because he is a Chesto Berry variant, I understand he's more than likely not going to be running Sleep Talk, and so me going out into my Landers is a very safe play. Even if he has a decent amount of physical defense investment, Landers will be able to 2-KO this thing with the Adamant Earthplate boosted Earthquake. So what I'm going to do is go right out into my Landers, as he does opt to stay in and burn a turn of sleep. And now, because my Landers is out, I'll actually be able to set up a Swords Dance, knowing that he has one more turn of sleep, and I can knock him out with a +2 Earthquake, or I can just absolutely nuke something that wants to come in. If he opts to switch into his Golbat with Rocks Up, I'll be able to knock him out with a +2 Stone Edge. So we are going to go right for that Swords Dance on the Regice, and now he is in a bit of a tough spot, because even though he will wake up next turn, or he is now, he burnt his final turn of sleep, he has nothing to switch into this, and so I'm just going to click the Earthquake, and this Regice stands absolutely no chance of taking this. He's going to go straight down, and now he has to go out into either his Blacephalon or his Starmie in order to revenge kill me. So as you can see here, he's going to go right into Starmie. He can knock me out with the Hydro Pump, Ice Beam, Scald, something along those lines, so I didn't want to stay in. And instead, I am just going to go right out and sack my Mesprit. As I mentioned earlier, it's the most expendable member of my team, since he did not bring the Mega Venusaur, so I'm just going to allow it to go down to the Scald. No big deal, but now what I can do is go right out into my Sneasel to potentially Pursuit Trap him. If he is Colbur Berry, I'll be able to knock him out with 2 Pursuits anyway, or should be able to knock him out with 2 Pursuits anyway, but as you can see here, he actually opts to stay in, probably expecting my Pursuit, which was a smart move on his part. However, we are going to be able to do a lot of damage. He does go for the Scald the next turn, however, it's not going to be enough to knock me out. Thankfully, he does not burn me, and we will be able to go for another Pursuit in order to knock him out. As it turns out, he was Choice Scarf as well, but we were able to win 2 speed ties, so that was kind of lucky on our part. But you know, we have 5 Pokemon, so I'll take a little bit of luck going my way. But anyway, he sends out his Sizzler here. I want to save my Sneasel as fodder for later on, so what I'm going to do is just go right out into my Pyukamaku. I also didn't want to risk him setting up a Swords Dance, not that I care too much, because I do have my Unaware Pyukamaku, but it could potentially stall me out of moves, since I obviously don't have anything to touch the Sizzler. But regardless, he's going to U-turn on out. It's not going to do a lot of damage, revealing that he is not very offensively invested, and then he's just going to go out into his Garchomp, which also cannot knock me out. If he's a Swords Dance variant, he can't knock me out. Only thing that would potentially kill me would be like Z Draco or Z Outrage. But as you can see here, he actually just goes for the HP Ice, predicting my Landers to want to come in as I recover all that damage off. And seeing that he has HP Ice as his best attack to hit my Landers, I actually see this as a very good opportunity to go for the Z Memento and allow my Landers to come in and potentially set up, because depending on certain situations, if I get to +2/+2, I will easily be able to knock him out. He will be forced either into his Golbat or into his Sizzler, neither of which can knock me out. So what I'm going to do here, just go for that Darkinium Z Memento. I'm going to hit him up with it. As you can see there, I'm going to blob all over his face. He's going to lose his attack, and he's going to lose his special attack. So now HP Ice will not be doing anything to my Landorus. If he opts to go for a physical move, he'll be at -3 after the Intimidate from Landorus. So things are looking very good for me here. This is the perfect opportunity that I wanted to heal my Landorus. This is the perfect opportunity I wanted to set up. And so, well, not really heal my Landorus, since it can be at the same amount of HP, but this is the perfect opportunity I have to do a ton of damage to his team. So here's the Landorus right here. I'm going to go for the Rock Polish, hoping that maybe he would want to go out into his what's it called? The Blacephalon, expecting me to want to go for Swords Dance. But as you can see here, he actually just goes right out into his Golbat. Not a huge deal, because I do 2-KO this thing with Stone Edge, and I could have gone for Swords Dance here and potentially just won the game right here. But I was fearing, because he went hard into Golbat, that he'd have something like Whirlwind. As you can see, he just ends up having the Super Fang. So had I gone for Swords Dance there, we would have been able to win the game. Bullet Punch would not have been able to knock me out from the range that I'm at. But I opted to go for 2 Stone Edges, and there still is a chance I knock out the Sizzler, depending on its investment, because we are still Adamant Earthplate. He's going to be at, I believe, like 76%. Yeah, he's going to be at 76%. Depending on his spread, I will actually be able to knock him out. So as you can see here, I am going to go right for that Earthquake. and as you're going to see, it's not quite going to be able to knock him out. He was running a decent amount of bulk on this Sizzler, which makes sense. Versus my team definitely makes sense, and unfortunately he's going to be able to knock us out with the combination of knockoff plus bullet punch. But I decided to save my landers for potential intimidate later, plus my Sneasel is completely useless because he does have rocks up on my side of the field, so I'll let my Sneasel die. I didn't think he'd roost there. I was pretty sure he had to bullet punch. As you can see, I was correct. Would have knocked out my landers, but regardless, now we go out into our Gengar. We do actually live the bullet punch. Again, he is a bulkier Sizzler, so he does not knock me out with the bullet punch, as you will see in a moment. It is going to do quite a bit of damage, and I am Life Orb, so it'll be whittling me down. But this does about 50% or so, a little bit more, and we will be able to knock him out with Shadow Ball. And again, like, if I had Magazone, this would have been a lot easier to deal with. I could have just sent it in, trapped it, gone back out in my Landers to do fun stuff, but he's going to have Blacephalon, and I'm assuming it's Scarf at this point, and it'll just be able to click Shadow Ball and sweep through the rest of my team. But as you're going to see here, he is not Scarf. Turns out he was actually Focus Sash on his Blacephalon. We have Rocks up, so we were able to break the Sash, and now he is just going to go straight down. That's fantastic. And now all he has left is his Garchomp, I believe, which is at very little HP. We do have speed this thing. It was confirmed, not Choice Scarf earlier on, so Gengar is actually going to be able to pick up the final kill in this game, and we are going to pull a 2-0 victory over Colton of the Osaka Eevees, which was, wow, you know, I've played this game a very long time. I've won a lot of games, I've lost a decent amount of games too, but never before have I won a game where I started with 5 Pokemon. So that's something. That's something new. We've won a game 5-6, and we won 2-0. So that's cool. I probably could have won this game with a bit of a higher differential if I did have my Magnezone again. It would have been great to deal with things like the Starmie, deal with things like the Sizzler, the Golbat, but I'm not really gonna complain. Like, I could have the higher differential, or I could say I beat somebody with 5 Pokemon. I'd rather go with that. You know, yeah, that's all I gotta say. Thank you guys very much for watching. Hope you all enjoyed. Tell people about this game. Tell them how cool I am. And goodbye.